Hi all, welcome to 21 days English speaking challenge. For those of you who have watched the previous video, have you guys practiced it? Let me know. If you haven't watched the week 1 video, I will provide the link in the description box. Please go and watch that video. Week 1 covers day 1 to day 7. Today in this video, I am going to address from day 8 to day 14. Week 3 is going to be even more challenging, so just look forward to it. Now, welcome to week 2 of 21 days fluency challenge. In week 1, we dealt with laying a strong foundation for you by practicing the basics. Whereas in week 2, we will be expanding your skills. Some basic practices like introducing yourself, describing your daily routine, your hobby, or your hometown. These topics are the topics that we discussed in week 1. They are fixed topics. Once you have aced it, you need not practice it again and again. But from week 2, you are expanding your skills of English. So there is sufficient room for you to include variety and keep practicing these topics again and again. So week 2, expanding skills. Let's jump to day 8. Day 8 is about discussing news articles. Activity, you have to read a news article and share your thoughts on it. Purpose, introduces current events, vocabulary, and encourages critical thinking. Now, I know not many of you are a fan of newspapers, but you have taken up the week 1 challenge. I'm sure that your basics have become stronger. So now it is time for you to advance your vocabulary, your sentence structures, and learn more. And what better way than a newspaper? Newspapers not only give you the knowledge of what is happening around you, but they also improve your English to a great extent. So it is mandatory for you to take up this challenge on the day 8. So let me share my views on a news article that I have read. I read it on digital media where 3 or 4 comedians and YouTubers told something really nasty on one of the shows. I do not want to take their names or the show's name here. I would like to express my views on what the person has told. See, I know everybody has freedom of speech in our country, but people should be aware where to draw the line. Freedom of speech limits to you, but you do not have the right to hurt the sentiments of either people or the society that we live in. What that person told was really terrible. Maybe that kind of content would have been tolerated well in some Western countries, but not in ethnically strong countries like India. An FIR has been charged against these people, and I think they should not be let out easily. I do not want to go into the details of what I read, but for you to practice, you can be as open as possible. Here we are just practicing our English. Keep that in mind. You are free and open to say or express your opinions on what you read in the paper for practicing. If I stretch too much, the video is going to be lengthy, so I'm trying to keep things as brief as possible. Coming to day 9. Day 9 is explaining a process. The activity is choose a process you know well. Example, cooking something and explain it step by step. Purpose, practices sequential language and clarity in giving instructions. This practice is a testimony of how well you can describe a process and how good you are at giving instructions. I will take a very simple example, that is making tea. But you don't be this simple. Do something complicated. Not only in cooking, you can choose things like driving or playing a sport or a musical instrument, and you can describe any process. So for making tea, just take water in a vessel, place it on the stove, turn on the stove. Once the water comes to a boil, just add tea powder and then sugar or jaggery, whichever you prefer. Add spices according to your liking, like cardamom, ginger, etc. Once it boils, add milk and strain it into a cup using a strainer, and your tea is ready. By practicing this topic, you will expose yourself to different vocabulary related to different processes. You can change the topic alternatively. Like one week you can talk about cooking, the next week you can talk about driving, or getting admission into a school. There are endless possibilities. It's a wonderful topic to practice speaking. Coming to day 10 is all about sharing a personal story. Activities narrate a memorable experience or experiences from your life. Purpose enhances storytelling abilities and past tense usage. In week 1 challenge, day 2, we spoke about simple present tense usage. And here on day 10, we are looking into usage of the past tense. Okay, let me describe one of the memorable experiences of my life. When I was studying engineering, I lived in a hostel. This was the first time I was living away from my family. I felt homesick for a few weeks, but I also started enjoying the freedom which was newly introduced to me. There were a lot of other girls, including my seniors and super seniors. There was a freshers' day arranged where there was a little bit of a friendly ragging and a small party kind of thing. I was really surprised by the type of people I was exposed to. Every person was different. They had different likings and different way of behaving. Hailing from a conservative family, I did not get to interact with a lot of strangers. But during my hostel life, I got to make new friends, enjoy eating, living, sleeping with them, listening to their stories and gossips. I got a glimpse of what the outside world looked like. It helped me a lot in building my confidence. My hostel days are one of the cherished moments of my life. So, this was one of my experiences, and I've generalized it. But you can choose any particular day of your life where your child was born, or you completed your graduation, or you took a trip abroad. You can describe any memorable experience or experiences of your life. Coming to day 11, it's about debating a topic. Choose a simple topic and present arguments for and against it. Purpose is it develops persuasive language, means getting the ability to convince somebody for or against something, and it enhances your critical thinking. Well, let me choose the topic of should co-education be encouraged. Now, let me first talk against it. I will be talking from a girl's perspective. I think co-education should not be encouraged because not a lot of parents from the Indian conservative society are willing to send their girl child to a school where boys also go due to their own cultural or religious beliefs. I think the girl gets to concentrate more and be comfortable during her growing years, especially given the bad reputation of the Indian society when it comes to the molestation and rape cases. So, I firmly believe that boys and girls should be kept separate and that coeducation should not be allowed, and there should be separate offices where only girls work, separate colleges where only girls get education, like how there is a separate ladies compartment in a metro. Now, when I'm going to talk for it, I would like to say that co-education is really a good system where boys and girls learn to be casual among themselves. They will know how to behave properly when they are among people of different gender. I also have heard that boys who have studied in an all boys school have a craze for girls, and same applies to a girls school or college. It's also true that if you try to keep a person away forcefully from something, they will start developing a liking for that thing which they have been prohibited to do. So I think co-education should be normalized, and parents should take this as their responsibility, that they have to teach their children how to behave when they are surrounded with people of different gender. Okay, so now I am neither for it nor against it. It was just a part of the video. So you can choose different debate topics like online or offline shopping, should homework be banned for children, pros and cons of living in a joint family, etc. Now let's jump to day 12. Day 12 is all about describing a movie or a book. Activity: talk about a movie or book you recently enjoyed. including its plot and your opinion about that book or that movie. What is the purpose that I've included it in this practice is it encourages summarization and expressing thoughts and your opinions about it. So very recently, okay, let me share the thing that I want to share. Very recently, I saw a movie which I will summarize it here briefly. I watched a movie called as Manjumel Boys. I am sure you must have at least heard of it. It's a story about 8 or 10 friends who go on a trip to Kodaikanal. They enter a restricted area called Guna Caves in Kodaikanal. They just ignore the warning and try to explore the area and enter the prohibited area. One of the friend slips and falls into a deep pit, which I think it is a kind of very narrow and it has a deep opening. It's between the rocks. There is no way they can hear or see anything inside it. They go to the police station asking for help, who at first refused to help, but later, seeing their persistence, they come to help. None of the policemen are daring enough to go inside the pit and rescue their friend. So, a friend from the gang itself gets ready to go and rescue his friend. He does not have any prior training, still gets ready to go inside and save his friend, which he does successfully. All other friends help him and cooperate really well in rescuing their friend. This movie depicts the resilience and the willpower of human mind and body. It also depicts the power of true friendship. Firstly, what comes across as a group of careless individuals, boys, turns into matured individuals fighting to save their friend. It leaves you feeling, I wish I had friends like them. That movie is going to stay in my memory forever. I couldn't sleep for a night or two after watching the movie and imagining the harrowing experience of the person who had fallen into the pit. It's a must watch, and I truly recommend that if you haven't watched the movie, please go and watch. You can always watch the subtitles in English. Day 13 is future plans. The activity: discuss your plans for the future, focusing on your goals and aspirations. What is the purpose? Practices future tense constructions and articulating ambitions. You will be able to do it after practicing this tip. It is also an excellent way of manifesting what you want. Okay, when it comes to me, I am a not I am not a very ambitious person professionally. So I will be talking on my future goals and aspirations regarding my personal life. On a personal front, I want to give my children good education, give them the capabilities of choosing things and taking the correct decisions and good decisions for themselves. Like all other parents, I want them to grow up and be good citizens of the society and basically good human beings. They have to become well educated, well mannered, and earn respect in the society. I also look forward to them growing up and spreading their wings and getting settled on their own. As for me, I want to focus a lot on my health, stay active and fit as my age progresses. Okay, you are free to elaborate as much as you want. Now let's come to day 14. Day 14 is cultural comparison. The activity: compare an aspect of your culture with that of an English speaking country. What is the purpose? It introduces comparative language, like allows you to compare things, and it creates a kind of cultural awareness. Now, when you do not know the culture of some other country, you are going to look up on the internet and you're going to learn something of their culture. Try to find the differences between the cultures. Simultaneously, you are also going to learn new words and expressions. Since I have been in a different country, it's quite easy for me to talk about the differences in the cultures of two countries. But if you are an individual who has not been abroad, you can ask other people who have been abroad. Otherwise, I'm sure you have social media now. And at least you must have watched movies. You must have got some kind of clue or knowledge about the culture of another country, so you can just compare it. Coming to my opinions, I would like to talk about this particular culture where children are expected to live with their parents even after marriage and having children in India versus the culture that I have seen by living abroad, that parents want their children to move out as soon as they complete their university education or get a job. It is a good way to make your children responsible and accountable to their own financial and emotional needs. And children are trained in that aspect right from their childhood days itself. Because even as babies, they are made to sleep in a separate room and soothe themselves to sleep. Whereas in India, you have a whole family looking after one baby, and co sleeping is still very prevalent in Indian homes. I think Indians mostly belong to close knit families and have a lot of emotional binding towards family. And I feel this is one of the reasons why there is a lot of anxiety and depression in Western countries as compared to Indians. I believe that having good relationships in your life contributes significantly in maintaining a good mental and physical health. That was my example. This brings us to the end of day 14 and week 2. Also, to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed this video as well. I will see you in the next and final video where we will be talking about activities from day 15 to day 21. More advanced practices are coming up. Stay with me in the challenge till the end, please. I'll see you on day 15. Take good care of yourself and keep practicing. Take care and bye.